Hello, welcome to another episode of the Horror Vision Horror Podcast. I'm Sean.
I'm Tori.
I'm Ray.
I'm Missy.
I'm John.
And I am Anthony the Argonaut.
Ooh.
And guys, we're all together in the afterglow of Christmas 2023, in the precoital limbo of 2024 to talk about what a fucking great year in horror 2023 has been. I don't know about you guys.
It actually really has.
It was
I'm in the
not
wet
easy.
spot. Oh.
It was not easy to get to a list of 10. Not easy at all. There was a lot of good stuff this year.
Oh, fuck yes.
Before we launch into this, does anybody have anything as a broad blanket statement to say about 2023 horror?
I'm gonna say I'm glad that in this year I didn't even realize it until I looked back and looked at some of the titles, and the majority of the stuff that has come out in the last year has been very, very smart, very well made, well acted, and there hasn't been like of just terrible shit. And like I'm happy that the majority of it has been very well crafted, very well done, and has made it a difficult year. Well, God, do I take this or do I keep this? Like, even the stuff that like is mentions for me is still good, and I'm
Right.
like, God, I can't believe that I may have to make that an honorable. But I mean, it's the competition is really good this year. I mean, has been this year, and
Yeah.
I have high hopes for the next year.
John, I'm curious before we begin, are there any films from 2023 that you are either already teaching in one of your classes or plan to teach in one of your classes?
Nothing that well, actually, yeah. Planning, yes. And it's a big one, and it's on my top 5 list. And it kind of, it's a film that we haven't talked about, but I know you've talked about it. And it kind of was a little bit of a last minute sliding under the goalpost kind of thing.
Okay. All right. Point it out when you get to it. Definitely be like, this is the one I was talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's okay. I don't know if there's like a secrecy clause for what you're going to teach, or like, I don't know if you want to keep that under wraps or whatever. Okay. Just checking.
Yeah.
But,
and there's another one for next time I teach horror that I might do. In fact, very likely that I will do it. But there's one that for a different class that I'm going to do for sure.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a banner year. So let's get into it. Tori, talk about your whether it's your top 5 or whatever. Just give us 5 of your favorite movies of 2023.
So I didn't see as much new stuff as you guys, but I try to get it in. And this is in no particular order because I really couldn't do all that. And it honestly depends on my mood. So I'm going to start off, again, no particular order. Hulu's No One Will Save You. Directed by the beautiful Brian Duffield. Sorry if I pronounce it wrong. Did you guys all see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Not yet.
I'm putting it up there. I thought it was fast paced pretty much from the beginning. It gave me a lot of anxiety, and I loved the ending. I didn't see it coming. It's pretty bleak, kind of hopeful in a way. Totally dug it. And there's only like 5 words spoken in the whole fucking movie. Awesome.
It was one that I had to eliminate from the list because it was originally like, as I'm like culling together the best, and I'm like, okay, now I have too many, so I got to start moving. So
that's kind of what I did. I like made a list and deducted from there.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't make my list, but I liked it. I thought it was a good time.
Yeah.
And I love a horror movie that makes me feel like I don't have anywhere to go. Like I'm hopeless. Just that one of my one of my all-time fears, and that's always been since I've been a kid, is like running away and you either get nowhere or it doesn't matter because whatever is following you is there. And that's what I got the whole time with this movie. I really dug it.
Nice.
Next one is going to be Totally Killer. Dude, what can you not like? It's Back to the Future meets Scream
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah, for sure.
with a touch of John Hughes. Like how that's like an amalgamation of everything I love right there. So how can I not love it?
Yeah, that's my best horror comedy of the year. I really enjoyed the shit out of that. It's a lot of fun and like the characters are great and I mean Kernan Shipka, she's great. How can you not like her? She's
She
amazing.
is. And what I especially, I know you, Ray, you will appreciate it, all of like the little nods to all kinds of 80s movies that are in it.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
she's
Mhm.
wearing the white leather jacket from Can't Buy Me Love. Like
Yes.
yes, sold.
There's I mean, and there's like touches of Mean Girls in there, and then when she like meets her parents, she accidentally makes them hook up earlier than they're supposed to, and oh my God, it was so good, and man, I love that the the girl's mother who she becomes friends with in the past. I just love when she reveals that she's a time traveler and how she just like is able to deal with it. She's just like, oh, okay, makes sense. I was like, this is a great movie.
That was a really good one, and it kind of fell in low, like under the radar to me. So it's a really nice little gem.
Yeah, and it's got like surprising blood in it too. Like for a movie like that, you wouldn't think that they would go through that like that. But like when they find that like the girl murdered at the party, like she's just massacred. You're
Oh,
like,
dude, the
wow,
first
they
stabbing, the first when her mother
yeah,
gets killed, I was like, "Holy shit! Wow!"
yeah. That movie
Oh, yeah.
reminds you at weird points, like this is a horror
Yeah.
movie.
Mhm.
Still, it's funny as fuck. It's got all this low key, not low key, but just smart, teenage humor to it. But then it's just like Mean Girls like humor, but then it just is like slashing people in the throat and shit. And you're like, wow, okay,
Oh, just let's ground you back to reality and what we're watching.
exactly,
Right. Remind you you're still watching a horror movie.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that one a
yeah.
lot too. It made my list too, but not like it was like 8 or 9.
I just can't. I can't put him in any kind of numerical order.
No, you don't
Because,
have
like I
to.
said,
You don't have
you're
to.
right. But it's so hard for me. And then again, like depending on my mood,
Yeah.
you
I
know what I
can't
mean?
either, which is why I created the categories. Because I'm like, I can't do a top
Okay.
five or anything. So I'm just like, category, category.
Category is okay. My next one. This was a big surprise for me because I maybe I had really low expectations for it, but really really enjoyed this one. Unwelcome, directed by John Wright.
Ooh,
Um,
honorable mention, but that's a fucking great movie.
it's on Shutter, you guys. I really recommend it. It's got a great cast. With Cole Meany, Christian Nairn, I can't say that name, from Game of Thrones. Um, Hannah John Kamen as the lead. Great acting. It was really funny. And what I love too is the red caps, like the creatures in it aren't CGI. It's all what was it? It's all that
Miniature.
yeah, well no, it's an actual actor. It's all doing it with the
Oh,
size.
oh, perspective, forced perspective.
Perspective, yeah, forced perspective. Thank you. It was all forced perspective and it's pretty fucking gory.
Yeah,
And like, and dude, mythology and my horror, like I'm all about it. Like, dude, show that to me all the time.
Yeah.
Did anybody else watch that one?
Oh, it's on my
I
list.
haven't seen that.
Anthony?
Yeah, Unwelcome made my list.
Okay, my next one, I guess you guys can argue with me that it's not really horror. And okay, I see your opinion. I think it's wrong, but just kidding. It's gonna be Mr. Brandon Cronenberg's Infinity Pool.
Oh shit,
on my
that's on my
list.
list.
Yep.
That was my number one for most of the year.
Vindicated.
Oh yes.
That is my tie. That one's a tie for me for best mindfuck of the year.
Man, I got 2 words. Mia Goth. That's it. Done.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, that's it. Infinity Pool. Surrounding it off, I had one, and then I kind of switched it out, and then I finally said, okay, my last one is going to be Talk to Me. Super gory. Didn't see. Again, I didn't know much about it going in to watch it, but damn, I did not expect it to be as violent as it was. So that was a nice surprise. So that's my last one. But definitely, like, it was hard. I had Evil Dead Rise on there. I had Cobweb. I even had, don't judge me, I had Saw 10 on there. Just as an honorable mention. Dude, the last Saw, you guys, wasn't bad. I mean, give it a watch, whatever, bootleg it if you want to see it for free. It went back to like the first 2, which are good. To me, I think they're good.
I read something similar about them. My thing with Saw, I love the imagery and just it's on the surface, it's everything about it works for me, except the acting is always just so fucking abysmal. So like the first one works because of that, even though I feel like Cary Elwes is terrible, Danny Glover's terrible, but it works enough. And that last moment where he stands up is just like, what the fuck, right? 2, I remember thinking it was better, but it's still not great. And 3, like, has, again, I've said it before, the pig blender. I stood up and applauded because I thought it was amazing, but the acting is so bad. Twice I've watched the first 3 Saw movies all the way through, wanting to go further, and the third one kills the series for me. The acting is among the worst I've ever fucking seen.
Don't go past 3 though. I mean, no, honestly, don't.
Can I watch 10 and not have to watch 4 through whatever?
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, definitely. That's why it kind of goes back to like the original or the feel of the first 2 movies, which I appreciate. I mean, it's not going to change your life or anything. It's not like watching Martyrs. But I mean, I watched it and I was like, "Oh, okay, that was fun." And it's
Okay.
not David Gordon Green, so I'm joking.
I will say, and I'm not going to talk about it, but it on my list, but Infinity Pool, like it was hard. The movie that unseated it as my number 1 is a special kind of movie because Infinity Pool is, I just fucking love it. I just think it's absolutely fucking amazing.
That movie like made me think about it days later.
There's no doubt that movie's horror. Like there's such horrific things in it. It's just not, like tropey genre horror. It's just Cronenberg, right?
Some people want to argue.
Eh, fuck them. All right. I'm going to tell you real quick what my top 5 are, and then I'm going to talk about my second 5. My top 5 are 5 Godzilla -1, 4 Thanksgiving, 3 Talk to Me, 2 Infinity Pool, 1 When Evil Lurks. That was the easiest. Those 5 just slotted into place as I saw them. All of them outstanding. But
I want to see Godzilla -1 so bad. Sorry.
it's fucking first Godzilla movie I ever saw, absolutely fucking amazing. And as several people have told me, don't bother watching any of the other ones because none of them are that fucking good. So, and I don't have a nostalgia with Godzilla. So I not to take anything away from the generations of other stuff or the original, but that movie, I mean, I feel like my parents saw it with us, and I feel like they were like almost in tears. I was floored. So I want to talk about my back 5. So we're going to go number 10 was Ted. I'm going to say his name wrong. Geoghegan's Brooklyn 45 with Larry Fessenden. Oh, almost akin to Rope, Hitchcock's Rope, where it almost takes place or it might actually take place like entirely in one room. But man, that movie blew me away. limited cast, limited location, solid fucking performances demanded of everybody involved, and everybody rose to the task and then some. And there's even like a moment where it gets kind of Evil Dead, and I was like, holy shit, like I just didn't know what I was in for, and it absolutely blew me away. Loved every fucking second of it. And I feel like it was fairly underseen, just, you know, in a wide, it was fairly underseen. And I don't know, I feel like it was fantastic. It was one of the best of the year. 9 was Carter Smith's Swallowed. So this is Jenna Malone, Jose Calan, Cooper Koch, and Mark Patton. Infinity Pool is body horror, right? This is also body horror, but this is some fucking grimy, like the basic setup. It's like two best friends. One of them's gonna move to LA in the morning to become a fucking gay porn star. And they kind of have like they have a sexual attraction, but the one is straight and they've never like consummated or whatever. But so it's very bittersweet that he's leaving. So the friend that's not leaving is like, I really want to give you something, so I'm gonna give you some money, but first I just gotta like smuggle something across the border because takes place, it's either in Canada or coming into the States, northern states, or vice versa. And it turns out it's like they got to swallow these balloons, and they kind of balk at it. And then Jenna Malone is fantastic. She forces them to do it, and it turns out during an altercation in a bus stop bathroom where one of them gets punched in the stomach and the bag bursts. It's not drugs, it's bugs. Man, this movie, it really another powerhouse. Like,
Say no to bugs.
yeah, right. One of the actors does a very lot, like 45 minutes at least, like naked from the fucking top down. I'm just like, anytime somebody does nudity on that, like that level, I'm always like, I applaud you, because it's one thing, you know, most people have trouble with nude scenes or intimacy scenes or whatever, but to just, yeah, no, your dick's going to be out for like, you know, over half the movie. That's intimidating. And he fucking owns it, man. It's a solid performance. And Mark Patton, who, you know,
don't you dare,
Nightmare on Elm Street 2, as the big bad, and he's fucking awesome. He just hits it. It's fucking great. So that's Swallowed. 8, Unwelcome. Tori said it all. This movie, I knew the minute I saw this movie, I was like, that's in my top 10. There's no doubt. It's so severe at start. So fucking severe. Like the home invasion aspect of it was terrifying and fucked up. And then I was like, how are they going to marry that with, because I knew it had to do with Irish folklore and like the, you know, the red caps or the fae or whatever. And like, it just works so fucking well. So good. Such a fucking good movie.
It could have been really stupid real quick.
Yes, it could have
It could have gone
stupid.
real sci-fi network. And thankfully it didn't.
It did not. I was so impressed. And also, you know, nothing against John Wright, but he did Grabbers, great movie, but largely comedic. I haven't seen anything else he's done, but I was basing assumptions for this one off of that. And I mean, that opening is fucked up. It is really like some of the scariest shit. The home invasion thing. That's some scary shit. 7. This was actually number 10 until I rewatched it last week. I saw this in the theater. We talked about it. We did an episode on it. And I had a better experience watching it at home because I'd kind of like gotten over certain aspects of it the first time seeing it. Cobweb. Samuel Bowden, I think this is his first film, if I'm not mistaken. This movie, it has that same eerie, elegant fairy tale quality that Trick or Treat has. Now, I'm not saying it's as good as Trick or Treat. People, I don't want to like make people go nuts, but I really like this movie a lot. And the first time through, I just couldn't get over how much I hated Lizzie Kaplan, Anthony Starr's characters, the parents. But obviously it was the point, right? I mean, totally the point is they're terrible people. And I don't know, it just has that enchanted feeling. And the third act just it's fucking bonkers. I mean, absolutely bonkers. Cleopatra Coleman who is also an Infinity Pool.
In Infinity Pool.
She is
Mm.
outstanding in this one. And man, I really like this movie a lot. And then Woody Norman just as the kid, like fuck, great performance. And then Luke Busey, I saw that face and I was like,
Oh man.
that's Gary Busey's grandson. I guarantee it.
That's Busey's offspring. No, that's Busey's son.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, that's his son.
that's
somebody
right.
procreated with that man within the last 15 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Screw the helmet law.
Cobweb was great.
No,
Definitely
that's a
like
great movie.
School of Guillermo del Toro that guy was
Yes.
watching, huh?
Yeah, totally.
That's a good call. I was watching
Mm.
it the other day and I was texting Sean during, and yeah, it very much plays like a dark fairy tale, like the old school, like grimy original fairy tales. Because I've read those original fairy tales
Yeah.
in my literature studies, and like they're like that, man, where you're just like you're reading it and you're like, I don't understand how this kid has lived this long with these people and he's barely noticing how weird they are. But that's the way they're written. Like you just get into this scenario and suddenly you're like, wait, why are these people barely evidencing this weirdness? But if you pay attention to the film, like he's not. Like he's a loner, he's got emotional problems, he's crying out for help all over the place, and like you realize, like, no, he knows there's something wrong with his parents.
Yeah.
So he's just trying to live with the weirdness of it. And like I understood what Sean was talking about when he said I didn't like the parents the first time, but I got it. And like, it's honestly part of the horror of the story of just,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
just the
Child
fucking
abuse.
like, there's the child abuse element, and then there's just the concept of like the two people in the world that you should feel most comfortable with, and especially your mother. I mean, fuck. Like if nothing else in the world was ever certain for me, like if everyone became like a zombie or like a rage virus or something like that, I would just feel so comforted knowing my mother was still the one person that I'd be able to go to. And if she
All
just
the
was
horror
like a
movies you've seen, Ray, and really you think a
psychopath,
rage
like
virus is going to keep your mom from attacking you? I don't think so. See, that's why you'd be the first to die. 'cause,
Yeah, I
like,
was just gonna
look at
say
this.
that.
Not using your brain.
that was the best. Oh, Tori, you got me on that one.
Come on.
But you know what I'm talking about, though. Like, he's just a little kid. Imagine your mother becoming a monster and attacking you. Shit.
Well, and
That's
that
fucking rough.
that's my read on that movie. Are those two people are such fucking monster human beings that they actually created a monster, like an
Yeah,
actual
it just
monster.
manifested from their personalities and their
Yeah.
egos and everything else. Yikes.
It's a great movie though. I'm glad I rewatched it and reevaluated. And then the last one I'll talk about is Boogeyman, which I thought I had made a big impression up front. I thought was going to drift off the list, and I rewatched it like a day or two before I rewatched Cobweb. Fucking fantastic. I still don't buy the thing with the tooth. I know Anthony said that like you've experienced that, but I can't imagine anybody saying, "Okay, honey, we're gonna get rid of this loose tooth, tie it, put it around the doorknob, slam the door." I thought that was only in Bugs Bunny cartoons. So the first time I watched it, it took me out of it a little bit. But man, there's so much fucking grief in that movie, and David Desmalchin does a great job as the entry point for that in the film. And he is just every moment he's on screen, your heart is just like bleeding for him.
He makes me sad just
Yeah.
watching him.
Yeah,
Anything
that's what
he's
I
in,
mean.
I'm like, oh, cool.
He's great.
Somebody
He's-
take away my shoelaces. It's cool.
So Sean, it sounds like you never came around to Skinamarink, huh?
No, in fact,
Damn, John. That's where I
Uh.
fucked. John, you just reminded me. I fucked up. I forgot two on my list.
what
Oh.
Skinamarink and
Skinamarink and El Conde.
Oh, okay.
oh, I tried with El Conde. Couldn't do it.
I loved El Conde.
I got
Okay,
like
sorry.
30 or 40 minutes in. I tried. It's me. It's just me.
It's not you. It's me.
It's beautifully shot. It's beautifully shot, but I was like, no, maybe I'll come back to it. Ray.
Like I said, some of these we've already mentioned, but my best all-around horror film was When Evil Lurks. It's just so fucking strong and so well acted, and man, I hadn't seen his other film, and just going into that theater and seeing it for the first time at Beyond Fest, I was just blown away. Like, it's just so fucking powerful and so good. Like, that guy has such a promising career, and I just hope he just keeps making more and more films and better films. I mean, I don't know. Can he top himself?
We'll see.
It's a little bit hard to say, but I mean, it's fucking awesome. And I just have spent the last few months, anytime I talk to somebody who's like relatively into horror, I go, "Oh, do you have Shudder? Watch When Evil Lurks. It's great. Don't trust me. Just watch it. I will be surprised if you don't." And honestly, if they're the kind of person that's like, "Oh, I didn't really like it," I'm gonna be like, "Oh, I'm not recommending anything you ever did." In
Well,
my
that's a
head,
pretty
'cause fuck.
severe movie to recommend to people. I will say, like, you're going to probably get some
I don't-
people. You're going to get, especially as you're out meeting women right now, and they might be horror fans. I don't know if I'd lead with that one. Pretty extreme film. You might not get some callbacks. You know, like I was talking to this guy, you know, on
Okay,
Match or
okay.
whatever. But I think he's a little creepy.
I mentioned my love for the movie Solo, and I don't know what happened.
Well, see, maybe not quite
I don't know why
that
you sounded like
extreme.
that.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Sean,
Anyway,
we know Ray.
yeah, I know. Just maybe don't lead with
But
that.
it's about the Italian government. It's
You know,
fine.
it's funny because for some reason, like, I don't know. There's some horror that like I get, like I'm like, oh, I guess that is severe, but for some reason that just strikes me as very well made and powerful that I kind of overlook some of the severity and go like, no, but it's good.
I
Like,
agree.
fuck. But I understand. I understand what you're talking about.
Take a
have
step
some
back.
like the degree is disappearing for me a little bit. But anyway, moving down the list. Best slasher, Thanksgiving. It's great. It's talked about it before. It's fantastic. You know,
Mhm.
everyone should see that. That's fun. Horror comedy, totally killer. As I said, best mindfuck films of the year. There's a tie. It's a solid tie. And much like Tori said, that maybe some people would say Infinity Pool isn't horror. I'd say it is.
Yep.
The other tie, I'd say people would say, oh, I don't know if that's horror. Beau is Afraid.
I'll
Fuck
buy it.
you. That is a horror movie.
I'll buy it.
Damn, that's on my watch list.
Oh my God, it's good.
DirecTV just got it. I'm
it's
excited.
long. Yes, it is a task, but man, is it good.
It's a
man,
rewarding
is it
task.
well acted. It's a rewarding task, and it is a real what the fuck is happening movie. And like, oh man, it just there were so many parts that I was just like, this is so fucking awkward and funny. I just don't know what to do. Like the bathtub.
Oh, it's the best. The best.
When you get to it, you'll know it. It's just, but there's so many moments that you're just like, this is so. It's modern absurdist cinema, and you're just like, damn, I can't. Wow, it's impressive. Like, it's kind of disappointing to me how many people didn't see that movie and like it, how quickly it left theaters. Because man, I feel like it's a really strong film, and it's probably one of my. Oh man, I don't know. This three, I don't know if that's my favorite, but man, it's up there. I don't know. I can't pick a 1 through 3 on his.
That's
I
fine.
feel like they're all ties. Anyway, and then my most underrated, and it's something I had to go out to art theater to see. It's okay, Seuss with me. I thought it was a great film. N.S. Men. It's haunting and beautiful, and it's about psychic trauma and how events shape us and change us and destroy us. And it's just so quiet and contemplative and well done. And it just kind of kills me that it wasn't a wider release. And like, I don't know if it's out anywhere streaming, but if it is, and you get a chance, check it out. It's worth a shot. It's so good. I don't. Fair warning, it is a slow moving film for sure. But if you don't mind slow, if you don't mind like a film that takes its time and is well done and feels almost like an art piece, then you're gonna dig it. It's totally worth the time. But don't go in expecting anything like crazy or like intense or I don't know what quite to say beyond that. I mean, it's an art film. I mean, it's definitely horror art, but it's very good horror art.
Okay.
Honorable mentions. I mean, we talked about Talk to Me, talked about Unwelcome. Skinamarink on my honorable mentions. I dug that one. I know. Sean gave me the finger. I that one from the first viewing. I haven't had a second viewing, but you know, it's a mood. It's definitely a
I
mood.
get it. I get it.
Feels like an experience. I enjoyed it. Was um I don't know. I'm weird when it comes to it's like I've sat through things that people are like, "Really, you like that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it was good." Like shit that doesn't have a whole lot of dialogue and it's just people gesturing or making faces at each other and
Wait, are
absurd
we
as shit is
we
happening.
we
I think,
rating porno movies now? What? I don't
no.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'll say this. I will say this for Skinamarink and like even Innisman. If you're the kind of person that can sit through like a Jack's Tati films viewing, like a marathon of his movies and be like, oh, I love these. Then Ennisman, Skinamarink, you're probably gonna dig. Like you don't need like it's not dialogue heavy. It's got some strange shots, but you can dig like some subtext and like little weird clues here and there. You'll dig it.
Okay.
Let's see what else. Oh,
Wait.
Consecration.
Hold on. You got your five. Hold on. You got your five.
Oh, okay. I was gonna do my honorable mentions
No,
real quick. That's
save
fine.
it. Save it. Save it.
Okay.
Missy.
My favorite movie by far this year was Thanksgiving. Um, in my, I mean, I'm a diehard mutant, and I love cheesy, gory slashers, and this was well written. It's Eli Roth's love letter to both horror and horror fans. It's a slasher movie made for horror fans by a horror fan. It has a cool whodunit story and top-notch kills, and I will never look at a meat thermometer or horn skewers the same way again. And it was everything I wanted when I went to the theater. I've seen it in the theater 3 times, and I haven't gotten tired of it yet. So that was my favorite. My second movie is When Evil Lurks. It's the opposite end of my horror spectrum, because that's just everything about it is just bleak, and it's straight up horror. It definitely made me very anxious. It uses noise in a way that stressed me out in the best way, so it got under my skin. And I don't usually like possession movies, and it was a really interesting new take on possession. And it had some genuinely scary body horror that made you really uncomfortable and got under your skin.
Yeah.
My third pick is Talk to Me. I thought it was a hell of a debut film. It's very immersive. It's brutal. It told you a good story. And I really hope that we do see more stories about the hand, because it gave us something new, like the lament configuration and things like that. And in horror, we get tons of sequels, but we don't get a lot of news. So that was pretty cool. My number 4 is Satanic Hispanics. It's an anthology film with 5 different Latino directors: Alejandro Brugge, Mike Mendez, Gigi Saul Guerrero, Eduardo Sanchez, and Damian Rugna, who also did When Evil Lurks and Terrified. I'm not usually big on anthology movies. There's a couple, but not many. I love Trick or Treat, but I went in blind with this and had a complete blast. It's an outstanding anthology film that showcases all 5 of its directors really well. All 5 stories are engaging. You don't get any duds. They flow well, and they all with a really strong wraparound, and they connect. It moves a lot like Trick or Treat.
Okay.
I mean, they're not similar movies, just the way it tells its story. You can rent that right now on Prime, and it's well worth your time. Don't look up stuff about it. Just check it out. It's a lot of fun. And then my number 5 is Renfield. I think it's a really fun horror comedy that still has some bite, but has a cool self-help, like find yourself theme that I liked. It was a wonderful surprise because it was way gorier than I was ever expecting, and I think it's really accessible for people who don't like horror. I have a couple friends who aren't into horror that have a little bit of interest, and I've showed them some things, and they've all liked Renfield.
It's Nick Cage.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
Nick Cage, and I'm always happy to see him in horror. I love that he found his place in horror.
It's got so much great humor, and
It does.
the actors are great, and like the action is just like a gorier John Wick because he's just fucking people up, but like it's just
Yeah,
pulling people's arms off and hitting them with them, and you're like, I think to myself, what it's gory, but for sure, but
Mhm.
it's kind of action movie gory, so I think it's
Yeah.
easy
Right.
for people to sit and watch and go, oh, okay, this is okay.
And it's gory, but
Like,
he's rocking big giant shark teeth, so it's kind of funny at the same time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think non-horror fans are a little more forgiving of that too, because it looks ridiculous, so they can laugh at it. It doesn't make them as uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well
Um,
said. Cool.
But so those are my top 5.
Yeah, Renfield was a really good one.
John.
Yeah, 2023, I'll be honest, was not as strong of a year for me as 2022. 2022 had that list was much harder to put together. This list, there was, I think, less for me to work with, so in some ways it was a lot easier, and looking forward to a lot in 2024. I just recently saw an image of Willem Dafoe in the new Robert Eggers film Nosferatu, of him as the Van Helsing figure laughing maniacally amongst fire. And when I saw that, I was like, 2024 couldn't roll around fast enough.
Oh, wow.
So 2023 had there was a lot of good stuff, most of which kind of got dumped onto my honorable mentions. So top 5, here we go. Number 5, I alluded to this earlier. Tori, thank you very much for your recommendation of Mike Flanagan's Fall of the House of Usher. I
Woohoo!
was quite taken by this. I don't know if I'm cheating here or not
No.
by having a
It's cool.
mini series or not. It's my only one, I promise. But there's some aspects of it I found a little bit cumbersome, and some things where I felt like Mike Flanagan bit off a little more than he could chew. But in any case, he's definitely proven himself to be the new proclaimed master of American Gothic. Everything with Haunting a Hill House to Dr. Sleep and Gerald's Game, and now this wonderful piece of work. I'm always going to look forward to a new Mike Flanagan film.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah. Number 4, Sean, this is the one that is going to end up in a syllabus in the future. And this one is pretty hot off the press, and that is Godzilla -1.
Oh.
And Godzilla -1, and this is coming from a big fan of the original Ishiro Honda film, one of the best Godzilla films since the original, like bar none. I know like that's been said dozens of times, but I absolutely mean it. I have an assignment whenever I teach Japanese cinema. I have an assignment where for the midterm essay, they have a choice between a couple of different topics. Sometimes, mostly they pick samurai film, Kurosawa film to talk about, but one of the options is to contrast the Ishiro Honda Godzilla with the Shin Godzilla from 2016, which is a film that a lot of people like. I'm a little bit indifferent towards. I'm looking forward to teaching the class again so I can change it to original Ishiro Honda Godzilla versus Godzilla -1. And it was largely just because of how fucking emotional this movie was.
Yeah.
There's a moment in the original Godzilla where that's not in the King of the Monsters re-edit or in any other version of Godzilla that even comes close to it, where a mother is huddling with their child, amongst the destruction. It's like saying, the child says, I want daddy, and she says, but we'll meet him in the afterlife. And this film is the only Godzilla -1 is the only film that I think is even come close to touching the same emotional tone that Ishiro Honda touched. So number 4, Godzilla -1. Number 3, Talk to Me. This is a film that we've seen this premise played out so many times. I think Missy, how you were describing it, I think is spot on. It's like, yeah, we've seen the kind of From Beyond, kind of the whole Ouija board style concept, even kind of the original Candyman kind of touches on this in a little bit. But I've never seen this concept done in a way that's so original and so frightening. So yeah, hats off to Talk to Me for my number 3. My number 2, Brendan Cronenberg's Infinity Pool. Talk about just an absolute journey into the labyrinthian maze. He goes, he takes the magic that he did in Possessor and just goes, a step further with it. And my number 1, without a doubt, When Evil Lurks. It hit all the right notes that I think a horror film should hit. And then some. It was not afraid to be inventive with the film form, especially in terms of its use of setting and use of sound, and got me to actually think about the genre differently, which doesn't happen very often. And that one is going to find its way onto my next horror film syllabus for sure.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Woohoo.
I'm glad we did not talk about Godzilla -1. I had mentioned to you, I was like, that I was going to go see it. I think I said, like, I didn't see Napoleon, and I still haven't seen it, and I actually lost interest in it. But
yeah, don't worry about Napoleon. As soon as you and Anthony saw Godzilla -1, I started listening to that podcast on the way home from work, and I stopped. I didn't want to listen to any more because I was like, I want to see this film for myself. Because and earlier that day, one of my students had seen it and recommended it. So I'm like, okay, well, that's it. I'm going to try to. I have a short list of films I want to see over the holiday season when I'm less busy, and that's at the top of the list. And I managed to squeeze it in not too long ago.
it was such a great surprise. Great list. Anthony,
Hey,
hit us.
Hey.
hey, me, I don't like to retread a lot, so I will be telling the listeners or advising the listeners to go back and listen to the full episodes where we break down a lot of these films on the podcast. So I'll break it down. My number 5 was Thanksgiving. A lot of fun with that one. Packed house. I remember seeing it in theaters, and there's plenty of folks in there having a great time. A lot of winces, a lot of oohs and ahs, and I think it delivered the punch that we all needed for the holiday season, and definitely created a new, franchise that we're all going to be looking forward to for years to come. Number 4, Godzilla -1. It was a fucking fantastic. I'm just going to shut up, go back and listen to the episode. You'll have fun with it. Number 3, Talk to Me. Talk to Me was another one, with some really cool new innovations. Again, go back, listen to the episode. You'll like it.
Okay.
Number 2, Anthony DiBlasi's Malum. This one I really enjoyed quite a bit. I love that he had a chance to go back, remake The Last Shift, add all the things that complete his vision and really enjoyed the shit out of that movie. I've seen it probably 5 times now since
Holy
since
cow.
I got it on fork. It's fucking great. It's that good to me. I don't know what it is. It just hits, fires on all cylinders for me, and I just love the shit out of it. And again,
I need to watch it again.
I'm really surprised, Anthony, you're the first one to mention Malum.
I love Malum. Malum is, yeah, it was very, very close to being number one for me, honestly. And again, go back and listen to the fucking episode. It's great.
Okay.
And number one, with a bullet, When Evil Lurks. That was just something I saw. I'm very, very fortunate to have been able to go sit down and watch that in theaters. And I shit you not when I say fuck everybody who didn't show up for it, because I sat down in an empty cinema, and man, I feel bad for everybody that missed it. It's out there on Shudder, and I'm glad it's getting the exposure it's getting. In fact, it just got a Blu-ray release date just the other day.
What's the date?
Fuck if I know.
Okay.
Really, and honestly, I just forgot. It just popped up on Dawn of the Disc. So it's I think it's like within the next month or so.
I started panicking.
Yeah. No, it's happening. So that's coming. So very, very soon that'll be released, and that's going to be a very welcome addition to my collection. And that's my top 5 for the year. And we have gone out of our way to curate quality content for you guys over the year. And if there is anything that you missed that you heard on this list, again, please go back, listen to those full episodes, hit us up online, let us know what you thought.
Well said. I just checked Dawn of the Discs, which let's just say if you're on Instagram, Dawn of the Discs always has the announcements. Great Instagram account to follow. Coming to Blu-ray 3/26. So that's 2 days after my motherfucking birthday. I will have that shit in my hands. I was so afraid that this was going to be another year where my favorite movie was not put on physical fucking media, which is just
Princess Bride?
Where's my fucking Barbarian? Sorry. Anthony, let's reverse the order.
Sure.
Uno.
What
Reverse.
is there anything else you want to talk about? A different, like a book, another movie, a game, a fucking amusement park.
I got a handful of rejects. No, they're not rejects. They're honorable mentions, honestly. And then there are 2 games. And I'll run through them real quick. And again, a lot of the stuff we've covered already. My number 10 is actually a split between Renfield and Totally Killer. Those are fun times. I mean, and anybody who's down to have a good time should definitely go and watch those films, because good times are fucking abound. Anyway, moving on. Number 9, VHS 85. I had a blast with VHS 85. There's some really cool things they did. I'm looking forward to the next film, which is cool because they're flipping it and now they're going sci-fi. So I'm curious to see where they go in that, with that direction. But I'm really happy that VHS is still going to keep going. Now, whether or not the quality, waxes or wanes, we'll find out. Number 8, Boogeyman, and I just rewatched that one a couple months back. Sat down, dark room, still creeps me out. Still had a great time with it. Excellently acted, great direction, fucking cool monster design. I love that movie. That movie was fantastic. Number 7, Last Voyage of the Demeter. Everybody on that fucking film acted their asses off, and it is a great, chapter in a great book made into a film.
Yeah.
Go back, listen to the episode. Number 6 was Unwelcome. Really, really, really dug Unwelcome. Enjoyed the hell out of that one. I'm glad that I was able to pick that up on physical media. I'm glad that it's streaming and getting the praise that it is getting. Fantastic. Moving on to video games real quick. Blasphemous 2 came out this year. Blasphemous 2 is just as punishing as the last one, and all the great horror elements and lore is still intact and expanded upon in this game, and it's beautiful and it's fun and it's got a wonderful soundtrack, and it's punishing. The next one is The Last Faith that just came out 2 months ago, and it is a Castlevania-ish ripoff. So you're getting cool whips and chains and lots of monsters, werewolves, bat creatures, and all these all this rad stuff that we're used to seeing in those types of games, especially for retro gamers or people that are into that kind of stuff. That's a definite like go to as far as like horror genre games. Fantastic stuff. And Something Killing Children is still fucking banging it out, and it's still fucking amazing.
Yep.
And goddamn, man, that's me for this year. It's been a good one. I'll say that.
Good list, man. Good list.
Thank you.
John, ancillary notes?
Yeah, a couple honorable mentions. Beau is Afraid. Yeah, it's didn't have a lot of staying power for me, but so it didn't make it on close to the top list. But yeah, I enjoyed it anyway, and still gave me a lot to think about. VHS 85, also an honorable mention. I actually rewatched it not too long ago, and actually thought that it probably would have, maybe what I didn't like so much about it the first time was that it might have played out better as being part of a TV show instead, where it's sort of
Oh.
like kind of similar to like I guess sort of a found footage version of Tales from the Crypt, where each one of these is like a full episode, but
Yeah.
there's each season kind of has its own connective through line. So it probably might have played a little bit better for me on that end. I think that's it for me, really.
If you think of something else, just definitely chime in, because I'm curious. You have a slightly different angle that you look at things through than we do, because you also look at things as far as like you have the more like historical perspective as far as what you specialize in teaching, and then you also teach. So
Yeah, I think what kind of sucked this year, I mean, it didn't suck. I mean, I had legit excuses, but I didn't get a chance to go to the Seattle International Film Festival this year, as I do every year. And I didn't, I was a bit busy to give Beyond Fest, the full attention that I feel it deserved. And like there were a couple of other film festivals that I had to skip out on this year for a variety of reasons, all good reasons.
mhm.
So, otherwise, I think I'd probably have a lot more honorable mentions, or quite possibly my top 5 list might look a little different. The only exception was Sundance, where I got to see Infinity Pool like around its opening time. And there was also like a couple other films that I saw at Sundance that are not horror, but would kind of be on my top 10 list for the end of the year anyway.
Yeah. I forgot about that. You saw Infinity Pool at Sundance. Man,
Not only did I see Infinity Pool at Sundance, but like just the screening I went to was the one where I think it was Mia Goth was leading Alexander Skarsgård around on the red carpet with a dog collar.
oh, that's fucking amazing.
Oh
Man,
man.
I'm telling you, her character, I don't know.
I just went from 6 to midnight.
Wait, say that again?
I just went from 6 to midnight.
Same.
I'm sorry. I'm like, what?
Oh shit.
Her character haunts me in ways that make me slightly uncomfortable, because I don't know. I mean, god damn, her performance. And and it's like X, she's this, she's supposed to be just dripping in sex and like just provocative, and it doesn't even come close. And really all she does is like just every moment she treats him like shit. I'm just like, oh, she's so hot. Why is this? Why? Like, oh God, it just don't break my fucking brain. But God,
yeah, you could walk me in the dog collar. That's fine.
no problem. You want to eat chicken and drink Zinfandel and fucking insult me? Like, sure, no problem. Sounds great.
Shit, you want me to pretend to be a stuffed pig on your fucking farm and you're yelling at me that you're married? That's fine too, because I love you so much, Mia Goth. It's fine.
Wow. Yeah, good. Oh. Missy.
Ray, stop it. Notice he switched the camera back on real quick.
Oh, Missy.
All right. My number 6 is the Meg 2, The Trench. I know it's a silly sequel, but it makes me happy.
It was fun as fuck, man.
That movie,
Yeah.
right? That movie just made me feel like a 12-year-old kid watching monster movies. And sometimes you just want to see a giant shark eat a T-Rex.
Yep.
There's a
Um,
T-Rex?
Yeah, dude, the beginning of
Not
that
for long.
movie.
What the fuck?
The opening of that movie, I was like,
The
okay.
opening
well,
is one of my favorite things ever.
they're just going, and it's Ben fucking
My-
Wheatley. That's what blows me away. It's Ben Wheatley. I just picture like, hey, I'm sick. Well, I can't. Whatever. He'd be a more sophisticated British accent, but I just picture the fucking writing room in that movie, and I just am. Anyway, sorry.
No,
continue.
he's got a Cockney accent for sure.
No, he doesn't.
We're
No, he
gonna
doesn't.
have dinosaur in it. Yeah. Dude,
In
that'd
it.
be awesome. Yeah, in
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, it's super fun and I love it.
Stupid.
My number 7 is It's a Wonderful Knife, which you can watch Shudder. It's a holiday horror slasher. I don't like the holidays, but I like festive horror. I like horror for all seasons. And I really like this new trend of like the smushed together horror movies, like Freaky and Happy Death Day and Totally Killer, which is my number 8, which we already talked about. For number 9, I picked God as a Bullet. I mean, it definitely has some holes, and it's not going to be for everybody, but I think it's an excellent redemption story, and I liked it a whole lot. And the two leading, the two leading actors put in a hell of a performance. My number 10 is Malum. I still need to see Last Shift. I always forget about it, and I definitely want to check it out. But this was pretty low budget, but super gory, practical effects. I liked it a lot.
Ray.
Both were both are movies that I saw on Shudder, and both I thought were really good. Consecration, which I haven't heard a whole lot of people talk about, but I thought it was really good. It's Catholic horror. Cinema Alone's pretty fantastic. The way it unfolded and wrapped around on itself was really cool. If anyone here hasn't checked it out, check it out. Give it a watch. It's worth your time. And then the other one was Perpetrator. It took me by surprise. But again, I thought it was really good movie. It's kind of a vampire story, but it's not. You have to see it to get it, and like it's this coming of age story. And yeah, really good film. Really good film. It's definitely took me by surprise. I was not knowing what on either of them. I didn't know what they were going in, and then I watched them and I was like, wow, that was great.
Dude, that just hit Shudder. I'd started reading an article in Fangoria about it at some point and stopped, but you know who directed that? Jennifer Reeder, who did that movie Night's End that I fucking loved. That might have been my favorite, obviously filmed in quarantine. Outside of Posts is just another thing entirely. But yeah, I need to watch it. I'm glad you just said that. Oh, me. So I'm just say real quick. Totally Killer was like my number 11 honorable mention. Evil Dead Rise, I feel like would have been. I just want to like it, and I do like it, but I just really feel like this has started my blood oath against trailers, because I just think the trailer destroyed the movie, and stuff that would have been fucking amazing wasn't, because I'd seen it 17 fucking times, in trailers before movies. It just, I don't know if anyone else has seen this now. I've started getting where they'll play one trailer twice. So I'll see a trailer, but that happened with Napoleon. The first time I saw a Napoleon trailer, they did the trailer for Napoleon, they did another trailer, then they did the trailer for Napoleon, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So I hate fucking trailers. Anyway, um, my favorite novel, and I thought it was going to be my favorite horror novel. I thought it was going to be Nathan Ballingrud's The Strange, and I'm just going to make I take that out of what I'm going to talk about here. That was my favorite novel of the year, but it's not horror at all. I just read. So our friend Jesus sent me a book called Mave Fly by C.J. Lead. I read it in a day. It is very on the sleeve. I love American Psycho. I'm going to kind of give you my version of it, but nothing about it feels like she shouldn't have done that. There's not a time when I'm like, oh, come on. It is fucking exquisite. And it's just a girl that lives in Hollywood that works at Disneyland and likes to fucking kill people. And there's so many things about it where you're like, it's just like it takes 70 or 80 or 90 pages for there to be violence. Like it just, oh my God. I loved it so fucking much. And there's a lot of good horror books this year, man. My Heart is Chainsaw Part 2, by Stephen Graham Jones, and Don't Fear the Reaper, and New Laird Barron. Just so much good stuff, but that just blew me away. And then what Lives Under the Lighthouse? Is that the fucking name of it? The game. It's finally by Torture Star. I'm new to being a gamer again, and I really just play very, very specific things. I don't play a lot. I looking forward to playing Blasphemous 2 when I finally finish fucking Blasphemous 1. But this game it had some of the fucking weirdest, most horrific, but like in a way, stuff I have no frame of reference for. I just absolutely loved it. And yeah, No One Lives Under the Lighthouse. It just blew me away. And it was one of my favorite things of the year. Tori?
Obviously, I should have put it on my list, John. I'm glad you mentioned it. Was House of Usher.
Mm.
Another one I want to talk about is El Conde.
Please.
Sean, I know you gave it a chance. I say give it another chance. I know it's hard. I understand what you're coming from, but it's really fucking funny. I think it's worth it. Ray, I think you would really, really like it, to be honest.
100%.
Right? Okay. It's so up your alley.
I
It's
saw
on
a trailer.
Netflix.
I haven't had a chance to see it yet. It's on Netflix now?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
amazing.
shit. Okay, I'll check it out.
I recommend it, guys. I love the mix of real history with some crazy horror fiction that's obviously not real, but it's great dark comedy. Another one that's up there too, and I watched it last night, and I guess you can argue with me it's not really horror, and that's fine. I will fight you. And I could be pronouncing it wrong, Sisu, the Finnish movie. I guess technically it's a World War II movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Fucking awesome.
The guy that did Rare Exports. That's his new movie. Yeah. The Nazi Hunter.
Yeah. Suspend disbelief when you watch it. It was so good.
I expected so much for it to be. I'm sorry, go ahead. I got excited.
I mean, Ray, you know from watching it, I guess we could argue it's not really horror. It's the horrors of humanity, is what I'll argue about it. The horrors of war.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this for it. It's a war movie. It's gory. I thought it was gonna be like John Wick in the past.
No,
And it's not. It's more
like Green Room.
It's almost like a Western. It's fucking great though. Man, is it a good time. So worth a watch.
I'm gonna throw it on there. And again, we can argue if it's horror or not.
No, if you bring it up, it's horror.
Yeah. But watch it. It was a fun time. Suspend disbelief in a few parts. It was great. I really, really enjoyed it. And where they filmed it in Finland, it was beautiful. Highly recommend it. Check it out.
I definitely want to see that movie. John, did you see El Conde?
No, I haven't. I've seen, I've seen it show up on a couple lists, and I've heard people recommend it, so I'm interested.
And John, you're into history too.
Yeah.
I think this will be really up your alley.
Oh,
Just what
great.
they do with the story is, I found it really fascinating and it was really funny. Oh, if somebody watch it so I can talk to them about it.
I'll try to check it out before like next time we all kind of gather together.
Okay, cool. It's on Netflix. It's really good. Ray, yeah, Ray. Check it out, you guys.
Before we depart, anything else anybody wants to talk about from 2023?
Yeah, let's talk Pet Cemetery Bloodlines. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to talk about that.
I was
That was my worst movie of the year.
I have a list of movies not to watch, and it's that one and fucking Children of the Corn.
You did
Oh,
that
and
to
anything-
yourself.
And anything David Gordon Green. I know, and I know these things are gonna be shit too. And what do? I'm like, yeah, let's watch it. This is gonna be terrible. I'm a glutton for punishment.
I'm curious, other than Missy, has anybody here seen that Exorcist Beginnings or whatever the fuck it was called? Or that wasn't the name of it. Whatever.
Believer.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you.
Believer. Yeah, it's
and fuck no.
Gorgeous.
No, yeah, thank you. Ask me, Sean. Did I see it?
I know you didn't see it. Yeah, I tell you, it was another one where that first trailer, I remember John and I talked about this, where you said exactly what I was thinking. The trailer was like, okay, you're kind of watching it, and they do that tease with the piano piece, the tubular bells, where it's like, did it? And I was like, that is so fucking dumb. And they did it again.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck you. And then some of the imagery as the trailer finally opened up and stopped being, so like, oh, we're teasing you. I was like, oh, this actually looks like it could be fucking terrifying. And
It's
and
not.
I ended up not seeing it partially because my trip to LA and Beyond Fest and all that was going on, but also like it's like Mr. Burns, like, oh, I'll donate to the children's charity when pigs fly. The pig goes flying by. Would you like to write that check now? No, I still prefer not to. Like, I don't put my money where my mouth is sometimes. So I'm like, I'm going to see that. I'm going to see that. I'm going to see that. I couldn't be bothered to like get up off the couch and actually go drive to see it. So I guess that says something. I mean, Exorcist is holy ground, man. And I've only seen one of the sequels, and it's number 3. And I fucking can't hate a movie more than I hate that movie. I mean, I've talked about it here before. I fucking hate it so much that so.
And I will fight you about that one, Sean. I will die on the Exorcist 3 hill any day.
Yeah, if you choose to do that, you're throwing your fucking life away, because that movie sucks cold dead mackerel, man. I hate that fucking movie.
George C. Scott yelling at me any
him.
day over than David Gordon Green fucking desecrating the grave, then pissing on said grave of any movie I love.
All right, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it
No.
wasn't. I don't
It's
recommend it, but I mean, Exorcist Believer was fine. I'll give it a fine. Pet Cemetery Bloodlines, don't watch that shit. That's the worst freaking movie I saw all year.
See, I feel like that's more redeeming to me because I can make fun of it.
That movie just hurt my brain on so many levels. It was terrible. I watched the whole thing because it was a train wreck, and I'm like, it's got to get better, right? It can't be this bad. It's got to get better. It never gets better.
Well, all this talk of Pet Cemetery Bloodline and Exorcist Believer, it does want me to ask this question. What favorite retrospective viewing of 2023? What was your favorite, horror film from any years previous that you enjoyed revisiting the most this year?
Yeah, probably 2 of the Samurai Trilogy films that I watched, Duel at Ganryu Island and I think it was Duel at Ichioji Temple. Awesome rewatches this year. As far as genre stuff goes, probably Martin. Martin. Yeah, because I just got that recently from Second Sight. And it was it's been a long time since I've been able to sit down and enjoy that one. But yeah, Romero's Martin for sure.
John, did you have one in mind when you said that? What's yours?
You know, I almost want to say, first of all, yeah, Anthony, you and I need to talk separately about John Barra films because that's a whole, you just open up a can of worms in the best way possible, bud.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the second thing, Sean, I was tempted to say Don't Look Now, but
Ooh.
since we already did an episode on it, I'll go for something we haven't talked about, which is a midnight screening of Michael Mann's Manhunter at the New
Ooh.
Beverly earlier this year.
Man, John, I love Manhunter so much.
Manhunter
I've-
is a beautiful thing.
That that is my first version of Hannibal Lecter has always been him in Manhunter. Sorry,
Brian
I'm just so
Cox, right?
excited right now. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And just like every time I watch that movie or introduce that movie to somebody, I'm just, afterward, I'm always doing the, do you see?
Do you see?
Nice.
Hey, John, you know what you should do is you should watch The Keep
Yeah, I've seen
and then
The
watch
Keep.
Manhunter right after though.
Oh, do it immediately after. Okay.
Yeah, just to
Yeah, yeah.
see like that style translate over to like a film noir. Oh,
Mhm.
so good. So good. Oh, yes, love Manhunter. So
Yeah.
pumped right now.
And there's a lot of horror elements from the book that he, stripped out, which normally that would bristle me, but it's all for the better. And it just makes me even more stoked for, I still haven't seen Ferrari yet, but I've still got that and a couple other Michael Mann screenings around the corner.
Oh, so good.
Ferrari has one of the fucking most. There's a scene. Oh my God.
I haven't seen. Did you see it, Sean?
I saw it. The Adam Driver's fucking amazing, but there is a scene that comes out of nowhere, and yeah, it's gory as fuck. I mean, I was like, holy shit! Wasn't expecting to see that here. Oh man,
Interesting.
yeah.
Nice.
I may have to go check that out. Oh man, I'm still thinking about that. Okay. I think I've got two. I guess it's not that long ago in recent history, but because I only saw it for the first time a year ago, but I had an opportunity to go with Jesus to go see Cruising at the Las Feliz 3
Nice.
for one of those showings. And man, every time I watch that, I pick up something new. And also like I don't know how that movie does it. It gets faster every time I watch it. It's fucking nuts. It's now like the third or fourth viewing I've had of that film. And I don't even understand how every time it becomes a faster viewing. Like it just seems to speed by in no time. And I'm just like, shit, I don't understand how this keeps happening. But man, but every time there's like something new that I pick up and I'm like, wow, I didn't see that before. That's crazy. The other one, which I don't know how I didn't like rewatch it, but like something like 3 or 4 years ago, for the first time, I saw The Phantom of the Paradise and just fucking loved it. The Brian De Palma film. It's this. Has anyone else here seen it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I've never
I'm
seen
kind of
it.
surprised it took you so long to see it, right?
No, I saw it about 2 to 3 years ago, and then I bought it, and it's just literally been sitting in closed Blu-ray in my room, and then I happened to catch like the last 10 minutes of it on TV one day, and I was like, why haven't I rewatched that? So then I just popped it open, watched it. I fucking love that movie. It's just so easy to watch, and it's great, and like it's it's like the Phantom of the Opera mixed with the Faust story, and like it's excellent. I mean, there's just so much love about that film, and it's got just that what is the name? I'm forgetting her name of the actress, the lead from
Jessica Harper.
Thank you. And yeah, she's fantastic. Like I don't know why she kind of faded away for like after like that and like Suspiria and some other things, but man, oh, and of course she's in the other thing that I love from that era.
Rockula.
No, the sequel to Rocky Horror, which I'm
Oh,
totally
Shock
blanking on the
Treatment.
name of.
Shock
Shock
treatment.
Treatment, which is fucking great too. It kind of like fits in that oeuvre of like just strange rock opera musicals, but man, is it fun and just so worth the time.
Missy, retrospective viewings?
A week or two ago, I rewatched Boys and Trees because I didn't get a chance to watch it during 31 Days of October. And
Oh, that's a good one.
I love that movie, and it always feels like fall. And I did not want to think about the holidays. They were depressing the hell out of me. So I put on Boys and Trees, and every time I watch that movie, it feels like magic. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's hard to find. I know people can watch it on, like, you can buy a digital copy on YouTube for like $10. That's how I got it. It never got released here, but I believe it only got a release in Australia.
I'll go with as far as something I'd never seen before from previous, John, The Vanishing.
Oh yeah,
Fucking blew me away.
I was thinking about that earlier, thinking that might be it, but I was like, no, I'll go in a different direction. But solid.
Oh, I'm so glad that you picked that for
Yeah.
Elemental. I mean, that I was
That was-
just spellbound the whole fucking time.
Tori, did you see it?
The Vanishing, the old one?
The old
Yeah.
one, not the 90s one, the old one.
The old one. Which one's the old one? Hold on.
It's for what is it? What year is it, John? You know
You're talking
offhand?
about the alien
88
one?
88.
No, it's the one. It's where basically, what is it? Is it Swedish?
It's Dutch.
Okay, so I'm being a racist. It's a Dutch film where basically like couple stops on a road trip at a gas station. Girl
Oh,
goes
I've
in to
only
get
s-
something, never comes
I've
out.
only seen the Jeff Bridges version.
Okay, I haven't
Yeah,
seen
screw
that,
version.
but it is leave you thinking. It's one of those movies where it's like it stops where it should, and it has balls doing it.
'Cause I mean, if I if I like the American version, then I'm sure I'll love the
Yeah,
original.
yes, absolutely.
will.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You will, because I liked the American version and hadn't seen the Dutch one until we watched it for Elements of Horror, and you'll love the Dutch one. It's better than the American one.
Okay, cool. I'll check that one out because the American's really good.
When you rent it, be careful because I feel like I think on
Yeah.
Prime there's like you can get it, but there's several
The
thumbnails.
thumbnail was switched.
Yeah, something like that. So you got to be like make extra sure you're getting the right one. Otherwise, you'll end up paying for the one that you've already seen.
I was thinking of that sci-fi movie from the 80s where it was the aliens. Wasn't there one, The Vanishing, where they're like going through their mouths?
Maybe that sounds
Mhm.
vaguely familiar.
Oh, is it something else? Oh, that's the Hidden, huh?
Yeah, you're
Maybe
thinking
that's
of
the
hidden.
Hidden.
You're thinking of the hidden.
That's the hidden.
And as far as like rewatching something, I'm still not 100% sure I'd actually seen this. Going into the viewing, I was sure I'd seen it. And I tend to, there's large swaths of my memory that have been smoked away long ago. Lord of Illusions, the third and last movie that Clive Barker ever directed. I think it's better than Nightbreed. No offense to everybody that loves Nightbreed. I was expecting it to be like, okay. I thought it was absolutely fucking stunning. Like beyond what I expected. Well beyond. I was so pleasantly so. I mean, I was literally watching it going like, are you fucking kidding me? How do I not remember this? So it's possible I had never seen it, but I'm working under the assumption I had and just, it was a long, long time ago. So shame he stopped making movies, man.
So mine isn't as like cool as you guys, but I finally got to watch The Lighthouse recently by Robert
Oh.
Eggers.
Yeah.
Fucking love it. it's just been, it's still stuck in my head.
Still
So
haven't seen it.
I haven't seen
I
it
was-
either.
it's really slow, but it's worth it. I feel like it's worth it.
Oh, it's
if
worth
you-
it. It's
Oh,
worth
Um,
fuck yes, it is. For Defoe
I-
alone,
Yeah.
I mean, what? Oh my god, both of them are fucking great, but Defoe is an unhinged madman in that film. Oh my
He
good
is
lord!
so good.
I love the scene. I love when movies do this. We're just at the point where I'm like, what is with Defoe's pirate talk? And Pattinson's like, what's with the pirate talk? Or however he says it. I was like, oh my God. Like,
Yes.
oh,
Yes.
I literally say this almost every day in my life. I'm always like, you what? You don't like me cooking? Like, I bust that one out. But because I watched The Lighthouse, I did a rewatch of The Northman recently. Fuck yeah. Like, I liked that movie, but rewatching it, I just have such a newfound respect for it. It is so beautiful and just so dreamy, and I don't know. I love Robert Eggers. For me, he's done no wrong so far.
agreed. 100%. And like John pointed out at the beginning, it's not, do we have a release date on Nosferatu?
I'm leaning
December.
December, yeah.
Next year.
Oh, fuck, are you
We've got
kidding?
we got a long way to go. Got a long way to go.
Oh,
I mean, but you know, hey, we've got an episode to look forward to.
well,
You raise me up. I'm sorry.
guys, it has been an absolute pleasure talking about the spoils of 2023 horror with y'all. And I want to say to all of you, Happy New Year. And just thank you all. I love talking about movies with each and every one of you so fucking much. You make my life so much better. And yeah, I don't know. I'll be in LA in January, so you know we're gonna summon that motherfucking weed gnome. And
I tried really hard not to yell loud.
yeah, it'll be cool. So for the Horror Vision, we're just gonna say thank you, 2023. And from all of us here at the Horror Vision, have a Yule log. Have two. I don't know.
A pandemic of violence floods the streets of major cities as cases of the media-dubbed murder virus, MV20 soar, causing those infected to go on killing sprees. Caught in the middle, police detective Angela Miller finds her only trustworthy ally in the self-proclaimed psychic PI, Gerald Henry. As the two try to navigate the violence, they are drawn into New Age guru Abramelin Harvest's plot to heal the planet. Harvest's missive?
The world is sick, and humanity is the infection.
The cure? Murder. From the twisted mind of Sean C. Baker, author of A Collection of Desires and Shadowplay in Book 1, Kim and Jesse, comes his most vicious novel yet, Murder Virus. Available where books are sold.